Welcome to Dear Lover, a space where we are leading with the question, what's possible if we all prioritise being our own best lover? On this podcast, we are reconnecting with our true nature and awakening to our innate power together. We'll be sharing honest stories, insights and reflections from my own journey, as well as inspiring interviews and conversations that give you practical tools and steps to own your authentic nature and creative power. So subscribe for a weekly dose of love, creativity, empowerment, and sacred self-romance. Connect and send me a DM on Instagram. You can find me at Amy Reed Poetry to let me know what you resonate with and what you want to hear more of. So let's trust, breathe and believe and create magic together. Hello, welcome to this episode. This episode I'm particularly excited to share with you. And from now on, coming back to the podcast after taking a couple of weeks off, I lost my voice in that time. I got COVID and just generally obviously needed some real downtime to reflect and go inwards. And with this in mind, I had a lot of reflection time, and I'm going to just keep these solo episodes really short. I'm actually going to gift you with 4 episodes right now, 4 episodes in the next 4 days, to pump some more energy into this podcast. I love doing this podcast. I like sharing with you as a listener. I like connecting with you. Like, ultimately, I kind of think of this podcast as, the time when we sit down, go out for a coffee and have a chat with your best friend. Except the reality is that I'm sitting on the floor at my nan's house in the bedroom. That's the reality. So yeah, come connect, because it is, it makes it more, I really do appreciate the connection, and I want to know who you are, where you're listening to this, where you connect with the podcast, what you resonate with, what you want to listen to, what you want to hear more of, because I'm an open book, and this is all practice for me as well, and to speak to you openly, honestly, vulnerably and concisely, which gets to my point of keeping these episodes short and sweet. The solo episodes, I'll still be doing interviews, conversations with people that inspire me and that I have learned from, of my mentors on this journey. But in terms of these solo episodes, I've really reflected in honouring my energy, in honouring what feels good for my energy, and really just like getting to the point. Like, I do get drained. I love speaking. I love the podcast. However, if I speak too much on the podcast and social media, like I was before, I get very drained very quickly. And like I said, I lost my voice. And I do believe that happened as well because I was just overexpending my voice. Like, I was talking, I was showing up on social media and I was chatting, I was talking, and I was recording the podcast, and I was I was also talking so much at that time to, family members and friends about my decision, about living abroad and things, and what to do and all of that. So with that in mind, here we are. Short, concise and sweet. Thank you for tuning in. So this episode, like I said, I'm really excited. This is the summary episode of 30 Days of the Yoni Egg. If you didn't know, I started using Yoni Egg a few years ago, but it's about a month and a half ago actually now, I committed to doing 30 days of using the Yoni Egg, and I did it. I didn't do every single 30 days, let's be honest, because part of using the Yoni Egg, is listening to your body, and sometimes the body doesn't want the egg every single day. Like I said, so in this episode, you're going to hear like my 3 lessons, gifts. I believe they are gifts. 3 gifts from using the Yoni Egg. Really, they are gifts. I'm still going to use it, not as intensely because it is intense. If you want to embody deeper compassion, if you want to embody more of your true nature and innate power, listen to this episode. Just listen to the episodes. You can simply be inspired if you want. I hope that it ignites some curiosity in possibly you doing the same and committing to using using the Yoni Egg. I'm happy to open to talk about it. I'm not trained in any way to guide you in how to use it, but I definitely can speak from my own experience and speak from my own experience. And this is what I felt, right? Felt and embodied and learned. And it's a gift. So number one is, I feel like, the best. I mean, they're all very good, but this is one of the best because it's physical, is deeper internal orgasms, more sensitivity deep from within, like not just clitoral orgasms, but it awakens your body. And this is a very gradual process as well, because at the start of using the Yoni Egg, like, you don't feel the Yoni Egg inside of you. And then it's like a very subtle, it builds up a very subtle sensitivity from within, right? I felt more like natural lubricant, and started to feel more these deeper internal orgasms, right? So that the real physical and that, like, it's really subtle sensitivity that gets created from within, from deep within your pussy. And like, that's incredible. It's such, and I found in my, like, physically as well, I felt more grounded. I literally could feel my pussy like opening up to the earth, to Mother Nature. And I just felt like this deeper connection of groundedness, of like, hello, Mother Earth, we are one, and just grounded. Because if you know me well and been following me, I'm really creative. I love the poetry. I love writing. And my creativity in the past few years has been like a wave. And this definitely helps me to ground my creativity. So within this physical, awakening and lubricant and alive, like embodying more aliveness from within, I started to begin feel more of my power. And then the beauty of connecting to our sexuality in this way, and I did this first thing in the morning as well, it flows into the rest of your daily life, right? This is a 10-minute practice that I do every morning. 10 minutes, that's all. And it flows into the rest of my life because I was feeling more of my power and more of my turn on and more of my aliveness. I was also just letting go of everything that blocked me from feeling that. The biggest one for me, letting go of people pleasing, right? Like I said, I also lost my voice in this time. And when I lost my voice and, I'm here staying at my nan's, the fact when she tried to speak to me, bless her, she was chatting away. She was having one-sided conversations with me. She was chatting away still to me and I couldn't answer her. And the first thought that came up in my mind was, I hope she doesn't think I am rude. So that's just, it's that people-pleasing tendency of me, like, oh, I hope I don't upset her. Whereas I'm the one, oh, sorry, the cough's come back. I'm the one who's struggling with the lost voice and I'm worried about how she's feeling, So when I became really conscious of that thought, and what I'm saying here is that it helped me to take ownership in taking ownership of my sexuality and my sensuality first thing in the morning, and touching my pussy and turning myself on first thing in the morning. It was an act of reclamation. It was almost an act of rebellion, to wake up in the morning and take ownership of my sexuality, my own pleasure, my own aliveness, my own emotional state. And within that, letting go of the people pleasing, letting go of, I'm not responsible for how others feel. I can take ownership of my sexuality, my sensuality, my emotions, yes. But I'm not responsible for others. Others can do this if they so choose to. And if they don't, then that's okay. That's also my responsibility to accept that, right? So it really, doing it first thing in the morning for 10 minutes was not only deeper, more sensual, deeper orgasms and, the orgasmic, multiple orgasms, right? And also these orgasms are like, because they're deep in the internal, they're full body orgasms. I work with the energy now. I work and move my energy from the root to the sacral chakra, to the solar plexus, to the heart, and up and out. And you can really work with this energy and manifest using this energy with sex magic. And that's a whole another episode. The point is here, ownership, embodying our true power. Doing this Yoni Egg practice first thing in the morning is an act of reclamation and ownership and responsibility and letting go of the people pleasing. It's been so powerful for me. So number two is about embodying deeper compassion, right? Embodying deeper compassion, because using a Yoni Egg and committing to these practices that not only awaken our sexuality, but embody our true sexuality and our true nature. With that comes pain. Within using a Yoni Egg, we are activating our pain body as well, because it's like a blast. What I feel it as, it's like a blast of love and truth from the inside, and that's bringing up, and within that blast of like orgasmicness that we're creating from within, it's like a power. I visualize that as a power pressure, Maybe that's a bit intense. I am intense though. Taking ownership of I love intensity. This is why I write poetry. I come up with all these like visuals, but like a power hose from within. It's like a power hose that blasts out anything that's not unconditional love. And in this process, like, it has brought up challenges for me. Like I've literally just shared, number one, multiple orgasms and higher sensitivity with orgasms and everything like this. But it's not all daisies and orgasmic pleasure. It's also pain. There were also many times when I, would cry. Like lots of the times I would go through this process in 10 minutes, right? Of, okay, feeling, breathing with the Yoni Egg in, and then bringing up that emotion. And sometimes it was anger. Well, lots of the times actually, it was anger and rage. And then underneath that was always sadness and pain and the need to forgive. I'll be talking a lot about forgiveness actually on this podcast. It's really powerful. Forgiveness sets us free. But staying with the Yoni Egg, using the Yoni Egg and creating that container has helped me to contain, within that act, like that physical act of spending 10 minutes in the morning, is like saying, I'm going to create this container for you, and this container of compassion. It's helped me to increase my own sacred, divine, masculine self-compassion, right? Both tender self-compassion and fierce self-compassion. This is something else I want to talk about from Kirsty Neff. If you don't follow her, she is like an expert on self-compassion. She's amazing. But this is really, really important and profound in what I have felt with the Yoni Egg. Like that physical space of creating the compassion has led to helping me to embody that more. That sacred, like divine masculine energy is divine compassion, is divine presence, loving, compassionate, kindness and presence. And in developing that self-compassion for myself in this process, in this act, in this, journey of 10 minutes in the morning, has led to help me to have more compassion for others when I'm in my rest of the day, because I'm like, okay, I can see you in me. I can see others in myself, and I can feel you, and I can see you, and I can understand you more because I can feel me more now, and I can see me more now, and I have compassion for me more now, right? And that is where I believe pure unconditional love stems, is when we see ourselves in another. We are one, right? And I mean, all of this from 10 minutes using a Yoni Egg every morning, like, it's so deep, it's so profound. And I believe it's so profound because we, as women, we have this sacred portal, our womb. And, and part of loving ourselves and being our own best lover, like, it's a Dear Lover podcast. And like, we can't authentically talk about being our own best lover and unconditional love on this planet if we're not including our sacred womb space and sexuality in this. Like, I'm sorry, like, I am so done. This moves on to the third point. Let's go to the third point now. So number 1 was the multi-orgasms, heightened sensitivity. Number 2, embodying deeper compassion within myself from creating that compassionate container every morning and that divine masculine energy of loving compassion and kindness. Number 3 is, here I found a sense of true belonging from within, because within embodying a true nature and innate power, I have found that sense of home. I've stopped looking on the outside for actually what's within. And I know that's so cliche. And, how many times have you heard that? It's all within, all the answers are within. I understood that with my mind so well, so well. I read all the books, I went to the workshops, I did all the things. Like, I understood that intellectually. Yeah, everything is from within, all the answers are from within. But, in the past, what was going on from within me was complete chaos. I'm like, I'm supposed to have the answers? Like, what the fuck? I don't have the answers. Oh my gosh, there's something wrong with me. But through the embodiment of this practice, I actually can feel it, right? And what I mean by this is that in terms of my decision to not go to Costa Rica, I will get onto this, by the way. I've decided to not go to Costa Rica, and this is from this whole 30 plus days of using this Yoni Egg, of like inner reflection and everything, and this true embodiment of my true nature and innate power. And that big decision to not move to Costa Rica has come from embodying this, right? Embodying my actual truth and true nature, and letting go of the need to prove myself by moving abroad again, right? When I connected with my inner child whilst connecting with my sexuality, right? She came up there as well. And that's the thing, I think needs to be talked about more, which we're going to talk about, is how when we embody our true, our sexuality, we also liberate our inner child. I had so much resistance in talking about both, right? Talking about inner child and sexuality. We're going to talk about this now. Totally. They are so related. They are so interconnected. It's all one anyway. And I know that because I've deeply felt it through this whole process. And so when I moved into I softened, right? I literally, when we're using doing these embodiment practices, especially with the Yoni Egg, like we're softening the body, we're softening, right? And I felt like I let go of needing to prove what am I trying to prove? I've lived and taught abroad for 8 years. I've enjoyed it. I'm so grateful. But it's time to I'm done. It's time to come home. Coming home to myself, I'm actually physically now coming home. So it makes sense. And also this is a big point that I'm going to finish on. I've found a sense of belonging in a world where emotions are not valid and sexuality is suppressed. Sensuality is, considered, and vulnerability is considered a weakness. And how am I as a person? I am highly emotional. I have high sexual energy, and I'm highly sensitive to energy, to other people's emotions, to my emotions, right? And I have found it so difficult in the past to, and this is something I'm still working on every single day, and I believe I'll probably be working on it for the rest of my life, just at different levels. And I found it so difficult to belong in a world where emotions are suppressed, where our emotions are not valid, our sexuality is suppressed, and sensitivity and vulnerability is considered a weakness. I have found it so difficult. But in the process of using the Yoni Egg and embodying my true nature and innate power, and holding that deeper compassion, that space for myself every single day, has meant that has given me space to feel my emotions, own my emotions, show up as in my sexual nature, show up in my highly sensitive self, and feel everything, and know and feel and embody that vulnerability is a strength. And it's my power. It's our power. It's where we connect. It's where we connect with ourselves first and foremost, and then we connect with others. And it's so, so liberating and powerful. So basically, in this process of 30 plus days, it was over 30 days in the end because I had a break, because I got COVID. In this process, I have come home to my true nature and innate power, and most importantly, embodying this from deep within. There's so many embodiment practices that we can do, and there's not to say like one's better than the other, of course not. But for me, like from my personal experience, I have found sexual practices, especially the Yoni Egg, because it's actually a tool, right? It's actually something physically that I can put inside. Saying that, a Yoni Dhyana massage with your own fingers is also just as powerful, if not more. But I've found sexual practices, for me, the most transformative, because they help me to deeply embody whatever I'm feeling through, whatever I do need to feel, whatever I need to forgive, let go of, embody more, speak up for my boundaries, from deep within, from actually inside my pussy. So, and like, dear lover, like being our own best lover is inclusive of our sexuality, is inclusive of our womb. Like, enough of this like shame, and enough. Like, it's time to embody our true nature and create that container of sacred self-compassion for us each day, and embody our innate power. Like, we so deserve it, women. Like, we are, in doing that, we are showing up for our partners as our best selves, self-love, it's beyond self-love. Like, in showing up for ourselves in this way, can you imagine how we show up for our partner, right? The compassion that we'll have for our partner, the knowing of, because we know our how to turn ourselves on, and our aliveness and our bodies. Like, we know how to guide our partner, and that's hot. And our innate power, embodying our true nature, innate power means that we can build and create a life and a career and relationships that are truly aligned to our essence. And we only get one life. This gift of life is so short. And like, it's our responsibility. And like, let's have fun doing that, right? Let's have fun doing that. And that's not fun. Doesn't mean to say it's going to be all flowers and daisies all the time. There's going to be challenges, hence the sacred self-compassion. But like, let's include our sexuality in this. And I invite you to let me know if you want to use a Yoni Egg. And if you listen to this episode, connect with me and we can have a chat about it. Like I said, I'm not trying to guide in any way, but I'm definitely open to talking about it and talking about how you feel as well, if you're open to that. And yeah, let me know. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. And yeah, connect soon. Thank you so much for listening in. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend or post it on social media and tag me so I can personally thank you for helping to get the message out. I am so grateful to be on this journey with you. Talk to you soon.